Yes. So,
Perfect.
everyone, welcome back to the Whispers of the Unbridled Spirit. My name is Mallory, and today I'm with Kayla, and we have a special guest on.
Yes, we have Allie, Divine Mystic Messenger. She's here to kind of chat with us today and share some of her experiences. I'll let you do an intro.
Well, the only thing I can think about background-wise, I think I've been doing this probably longer than what I would want to admit.
Really?
You know, like years. I came from a family who didn't honor it, but didn't hide it. You know what I'm trying to say? It was the talk of the dinner table, in other words.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up with it
Yeah.
Yeah.
to, a level.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but
So-
everybody always wants to know, like, when did you start and stuff like that, and I don't know, 7, 8, around in there, when I knew what was going on.
Wow.
Wow.
So
I guess that kind of takes off one of my first questions.
that's the bad part about reading or asking intuitive questions,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they kind of so I'll
Yeah.
be good.
So I guess, how did you kind of grow with that to get to the point where you are today? Has your gift always kind of been just what it is now, or did you have to do any kind of
Expansion.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I did, I just sort of followed it. Okay, you'll see a lot of people who do a lot of research into it, or they'll take a lot of classes and stuff, and I'm just not one for bookwork, or so whether you want to call it opening up, accepting, however you want to word that, I was just like, okay, so it went into different levels.
Yeah.
And then it gave me a break to where it was nice and almost normal, for
Yeah.
a small, and I do mean small, window of time. And then it came back like full force.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you got to feel what it's like to be normal for a 2nd,
Mhm.
and then truly expand on your gift. Does it feel better knowing that you have this gift than it would feel like to be normal?
I think so. Every once in a while I'll spout out, I miss being normal, but at the same time I don't think I would give it up.
Yeah. I totally
Because this is my normal.
Yeah. I mean, you've obviously gotten used to.
Yeah, and even when I was quote unquote normal,
Yeah.
I was still seeing things,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't getting the strong messages, if you will. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I wouldn't get the hey, and that verbal connection, that audible.
Yeah.
So I just mainly see things.
Is it almost to a point now where it's kind of like your comfort?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Because I think I'd be lost without it.
Yeah.
I really do.
I could definitely see that. Do you feel like you have to sometimes maybe protect yourself in a certain way, or certain aspects sometimes because of your gift?
From people or from
Any of it, honestly, because I could
guess
I could
both.
see people being a problem. I could see,
Yeah.
spirits
Right.
sometimes being a problem. I could see a lot of different problems.
And
you
I
know,
think it is. I think it's the living and the dead. Let's call it that way.
Yeah.
It's because I believe in the positive and the negative. Okay, you kind of have to have that yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So with the good, there's also bad out there,
hmm
and I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I haven't come across it.
yeah,
And with the people aspect of it, people always want more, and you can only give them so much, because I don't believe that our minds, I know mine isn't able to hold all that.
Yeah.
With, kind of like I think of it like a computer that can get overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'd hate to see that. Or they're always, I know this is horrible, but I found the biggest thing is the people who always want to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And you can see through it. And I don't know why, but they think, I guess it's cool to have a friend that's a medium or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, go away.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a people person.
Yeah.
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 I feel like you deal with people 24/7, whether it's physical or non-physical, let alone
Yeah.
let,
Yeah.
let alone having to deal
Yeah.
with actual
Constantly.
physical people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even like going to crowds, so
Same here. Yeah.
you're always got something going on at your house, so
Yeah.
I could see how it could be a challenge overall. Yeah, because I was actually thinking on the way over here was like, I feel like people with bad intentions or bad like energy coming into here and thinking that they're gonna get something that they want
Yes.
affects you more too.
Yeah. Well, and they think it does, but I don't let them do that,
And that's good.
But I probably should put up more, I think they call them like barriers, than what I do, because I'm a very forgetful person. I'm just, I don't know, airhead, I guess, but I'll forget to, to throw this up or to throw that up. And everybody calls it different things. Like a shield, a layer of protection, white light. It's however you feel comfortable, is that protection.
Yeah.
Because they say you're supposed to do it before and after, but you know me, I'm not really one for rules, so yeah.
Because I think that was one of our questions. How do you protect yourself
Yeah, like, is
in
there
those
kind of
situations? Yeah.
like a prep that you do, whether it's like internally or, with crystals or what have you?
I have a lot of crystals. I think they're very pretty. Do I use them a lot? No. Mainly because, again, I get sidetracked.
Yeah.
But they're good for grounding purposes
Mhm.
and all kinds of like healing and things like that. I get up, and it sounds so boring, I think, maybe, than what y'all are expecting me to say.
No.
But, I'll get up, and then sometimes I forget to do this, so I'm sorry, guys. I always ask, let the people that need me find me, okay? And let me be able to deal with, to handle, to even decode, the messages and things that these people need.
Yeah.
I don't have to understand it as long as they do. But again, I get busy, I get sidetracked. And then sometimes I wonder, how come I don't have a booking for this afternoon or something? Like, oh, I forgot to ask. So I'll go ask or something, and poof, here they come.
Wow.
So yeah.
I mean, I feel like that sounds accurate. Cause
That's kind of always been my take on it. Like, I feel like people who need that message will find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I was never big, like, on advertising and stuff.
Mhm.
Because I didn't want to be like a sideshow freak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a circus attraction or
Yeah.
something. So I thought, well, word of mouth, this, that, and the other. But then I got thinking, putting two heads together, and it's like there's people out there that won't be able to hear that word.
Yeah.
Some that may need this,
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
So it's, by going into that advertising thing, been doing it for maybe, I guess, a year. And it's broadened, the basis where people,
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
get in touch.
I feel like, even though you're advertising, I think it's still the same concept. Whoever needs to hear a certain message is
Mhm.
going to see that and is going to connect with that.
I agree. Yeah.
So I feel like that doesn't, downplay it at all.
Good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and also I think those who are worried about, maybe how do I go about and find the person that's supposed to give you this message, but also like for me, my biggest thing is I haven't seen anyone in your calibers because I was like, it will happen when it's supposed to happen for the right reasons or when I'm ready. And I don't think I was ready up until this point. So
No.
yeah, so that's why I'm like, it is good that you're like thinking that way, because some of us don't know when are we going to be ready. We don't know until it happens.
And some people are never ready.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it should never be pushed on someone.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to buy such and such a gift card. I'm like, okay, but just remember, you buy it, it doesn't necessarily have to go for them. You can go ahead and use it for yourself, because it's kind of like gifting a puppy for Christmas. You don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you may not be prepared for that puppy.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
may not be
Yeah.
prepared for me.
Yeah, 100%.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense in the way, like, as you know, we're intuitive, so it it just kind of connects for us. We're like, oh, well, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And would you consider yourself more of a psychic, more of a medium, more of a, or do you even want to refer to yourself as that?
I prefer messenger,
Okay.
just because I've never claimed to be psychic. A lot of people call me psychic, but a lot of people only connect with that term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I say messenger because I hear things, I see things, I feel things, and I put all that together, and then I deliver it, kind of like a messenger.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I think of a psychic, which is fine, I think they're really cool. I think of somebody sitting down with like tarot deck or something, which is cool because I've got cards, but I do not use them with every session because some people they're kind of afraid of those things, believe it or not.
Really.
You know, plus I don't like to be fed. You know, and
Yeah.
I can be fed off of that card.
Yeah.
I want to hear first, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people still think the subject's taboo or, not kosher with
Right.
most people's religion and lifestyle. And I could see that, but also you're not trying to harm anyone either.
Right.
You're just out there saying, hey, I was supposed to tell you this, do with what you want with it. And
Exactly.
That's it.
And that's just it. You deliver it. You can deliver that newspaper on the front porch, and it's up to the occupant to pick it up and read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can pick it up, but they don't have to read it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
It makes
or they can
sense.
throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
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 So, how does your ability, to communicate with spirits affect you mentally and physically? Like, does it, kind of drain you?
It's draining at times, but it's a weird draining. Okay. After I get done with, if I do individual sessions, I'm pretty good. And then I'll get a boost of like energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is really cool. But then all of a sudden, it's like I hit a wall. Like, imagine like down in a 5-hour energy shot. They'll, and all of a sudden it's gone. And you're like, oof,
Yeah.
But now if I do a group, now see, there's the difference. If I come into an event and there's 20, 30, 40, whatever people there, that is a lot of energy. That's a lot of spirit energy, people
Yeah.
energy. And that energy plays on mine. Okay, so that's how I have to connect it. It's kind of like connecting the dots
Yeah.
and with a really bad puzzle. And it drains me really within, a few hours. And I have to stop and try to kind of recharge. And then I'm pretty good. But the single ones aren't bad as long as I get a break. So I used to be really bad about that. I'd go back to back. And then I'd be like, what the hell? I don't know if I can say that or not, but, what did I do?
Yeah.
I feel like I was run over by a Mack truck.
Yeah.
And then we had to do some adjusting, and I'm not really good on that stuff. So, yeah, adjusting on that end, and now I get breaks in between, and I'm good. Because
Yeah.
I ain't no spring chicken anymore,
Well, that, and I think like energy, like I could definitely, not that I even have a level of your experience or anything like that. I feel like energy is so crazy nowadays, like just the environments we're in, and depending on where we're with, because I feel like really empathetic towards people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can soak in some energies, I feel like, and if I'm out there and everyone's having a good time, I am so there and I can feel it, and it resonates with me. But if I feel one person having a bad time, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah.
My body shuts down. I have no energy left,
It's
and I
like-
need a couple days to recover.
I'm the same way. I feel like I absorb people's like moods. So like if they're in a bad mood, I absorb that, and now I'm in a bad mood, and I hate that I'm like that. But
And you can
Um,
throw that away, too,
yeah.
just so you know that. Because you just
Yeah.
ask, is that mine?
Yeah.
And if it's not yours, then ask for it to be gone. Because
Yeah.
that's like a true, empath quality.
Yeah.
But also what I call like high sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of that, like after our session, and I was out in the car, I don't know if it has to do with being sensitive to this stuff, but I started to feel like I was going to pass out.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. That is because of the actual energy pull. Okay, I don't tell people when they come in. Sometimes I do, but again, I forget. But sometimes you will feel drained.
Mm-hmm.
But when you first walk out, as a rule, when you see it, it's almost like somebody has taken like Windex to your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say? It's not because of all the tears, but you see everything really crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it's what I call an energy move.
Mm-hmm.
All right, kind of like a, I don't know, one of those like liquidy lamp things. You know, I guess they're like lava lamps. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Yep.
You know how it goes up and down like this?
Yeah.
Think about that. It's like all this energy. The red can be the negative. All right, and the white is the good or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So you take that and you turn it. Well, I'm messing with your all's energies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
And just like if I turn you upside down for a while and then I set you right back up, you're going to be a little, whoa.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Off kilter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
So, you know, I have to look at things with simple analogies. Otherwise, I can't get it.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally felt that. I was sitting in the car. I was like, "Oh no, I'm going down. I'm going down. They're
You're
gonna
not the
find
only
me."
one. Yeah. I've actually had people that would have to stay in here for a few moments because they was so emotionally, I guess, moved and energetically drained, they really could not get up.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like something was gonna happen because when I first stood up to walk outside, I like stumbled a little
I
bit.
saw
was like,
that,
I was
yeah.
like, "Okay, I'm good. I'm good."
Mhm.
It almost felt like I was drunk for a second, and then I was in the car and I was kind of sitting there, you know, coming down from that, and yeah,
It's almost
I was
like
like, "Oh, no."
lethargic for a second.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like you can't get your brain to tune into the station,
Yep.
whatever
Yeah.
you call it. Yeah.
yeah,
You have to
It's-
reassess your bearings. Like
You
that's
do.
what I was like, okay.
Because it's kind of like an out of body thing, but it's not an out of body thing because you're not doing it, but I'm kind of pulling.
Yeah.
And it's what I call energy movement.
hmm
Okay. And I don't know if that's a real word, but I make up words. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
I mean, it makes
But
sense.
it's because, like, if I have people coming in, now y'all was fine, okay, but there's some people that come in that are very negative. All right, used to that would freak me out, and I would just shut down
yeah,
and say, "Here's your money, take out," you know.
yeah,
And so I've learned to get an extra backbone, you know, where I can kind of combat that. And I'm like, look,
Yeah.
well, I know what I can do. So I'd sit there and I'd just kind of chatter. They just think I'm making small talk. Well, I'm not.
yeah.
I'm kind of stepping into their energy field.
hmm
Okay. And then I move it, right? Which is a really cool experience. You guys need to come back and do that one of these days.
Yeah.
Where I can actually take your energies and I go from one subject to another. So yeah, just remember.
You're
go back.
fine.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Where I can kind of like move it. You will actually feel it. Okay. You'll feel like a release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I work on my daughter a lot. Like if she has migraines or stress or something, I work on her friends and, you know, my husband and stuff like that. And it will pull things to the surface.
Mhm.
Okay. And some things, the only bad part is sometimes I take that inward. Okay. So then I have to figure out how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like if I sit there and work on you for a migraine, I'm going to get a little headache.
Yeah.
So what do
So-
you do to kind of
To get rid of that,
for yourself? Yeah.
try really hard to relax.
Mhm.
It sounds silly, but or sometimes I will take a shower, and I'll just picture that water being white light
Okay.
and flushing it down, and then I'll look down, and I'll look at my feet, and then it's like murky. So I'm telling myself that's what's washing off.
So the white light, you had to kind of explain that earlier, is like your shield. So that's what you do.
That's
You-
right.
That's like your shield.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I call in my angels.
Mhm.
Because I've always said I can't pray to him. I can't. That's my big thing. You know, it's my big no-no. But I can talk to them and I can ask them for assistance.
Yeah.
And I can ask them, hey, what's going on with that person? What's going on with this? You know, do I trust them?
Yeah. That makes
And they
sense.
usually answer. You know, they very seldom put me on hold. You know, but there is those times where
Yeah.
you know we all get put on hold
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that we're supposed to learn.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I feel
That's
like no matter who and what you are going to have to learn on something on your own. And then, hey, someone comes in and is like, this is what that was about
Right.
at some point in your life. So that does make sense. So you have Beamer, right?
Yes.
Which is her massively adorable baby Rottweiler. If that, yeah, that's the words I'm gonna say. You're just adorable.
He's a handsome boy.
So do you sense also other animal spirits, or
Yes.
okay? And is it all the time too, or is it mostly they just come up to you?
No. Do you mean like through a session or just
Anything,
okay.
just in general, maybe.
Well, I don't ever plan for them to come in.
Yeah.
But I don't ever plan for anything to come in. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've had some really cool animal spirits come in. Or, sometimes when you're driving down the road, I'm the one who says, is that really a deer I'm seeing? Or is it a dead deer? You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
So it's like, do I keep driving or do I slow down?
That's what, yeah.
Oh,
that was
wow.
always I was wondering about that question, because I feel like sometimes I'm always doing a double take with animals. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oop."
Well, because sometimes it's so vivid. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not always that lucky corner of the eye glance. It's a very vivid thing.
So you can, is it more solid when you see something, or is it more translucent, or is
At
it just
times.
depends?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends on that energy.
Okay.
Because everything, even like I was saying, if I go over and move that cup, that energy is still there from where that cup was sitting to where I moved it. Even though I slept through all my science classes, I did retain that. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's that energy. All right, it's the matter.
Yeah.
Okay, and it makes sense to me. So then you go up there and you walk through it, you can feel that energy.
Of course, that makes sense. I'm not gonna lie. When you guys were in your session, there was a cat back there at your door, and it was inside, and I kept seeing a black cat in the corner of my eye, and I was like, oh, okay, definitely in a spiritual house. That's what I kept thinking. I was like, oh. It was just funny. I was like, I wonder if she sees all these like things coming through her too,
Yeah.
because I was like, kept hearing noises, and I looked out the corner of my eye, and I kept seeing a big old cat tail.
Yeah, when we first got here, all the neighborhood cats were
I didn't
congregating.
want to go there. So anybody listening, if they want a cat, come to my house. I'll gladly give them.
Yeah.
Because they're technically not mine. They're all feral. You know,
Yeah.
I can't even have to touch them.
And they're pretty feral. They're like so gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
it's not even funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. But
Yeah.
That's I think where it tests my patience. You know, because I'm not a cat person. I'm nice to every animal,
Yeah.
but they're just not my choice.
Well, that might be why they're attracted.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Maybe they just sit there to, push my buttons.
yeah, patience. It's a
yeah.
patience lesson.
Yeah.
How much patience can you stand?
Yeah. So, what are some of your takes on, the afterlife, paranormal, you kind of explained a little bit on your beliefs.
Okay. Yeah, just remember they're my beliefs, and I never want to push them on anybody else.
For sure. For sure,
And part of it goes back to how I was raised. Okay, knowing that this is not it. Because being raised in that type of a household, we was taught to highly respect every form of life, because when you leave here, you're going to encounter that. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I do believe in heaven, and I believe that heaven is not way far away.
Yeah.
I believe it's right in here. And then also sometimes I feel like down here is hell too.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't believe in purgatory. I don't believe you can be stuck. I believe some people stretch, I think. I know it sounds silly, but like if they're here, because people will have that misconception of, oh, I love them so much and I'm keeping them here. You can't keep them here. We're not that strong. We ain't got that kind of power.
Yeah.
I guess we can think that.
Yeah.
But they bring their heaven here, or their hell, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful way to put it. Like, honestly.
But I feel like when you're there, there's no catching a bus. There's no, you know what I'm saying? There's no time. There's no time frame. So literally, I pictured as I'm sitting here looking at you, and if I was in heaven, I could be talking to such and such, and I turn, boom. If I want to be back at my old home, there I am. You see what I mean? So that's how I see it. And I feel like everything is, I don't know, brighter than bright.
Yeah.
You know, the colors, vivid.
So then you can actually kind of like see
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yes. Because a lot of times when a loved one will come in, their their heavenly space, I guess, right, is much different than a lot of people think it would be. Some people is on a patch of grass in a field. All right. I remember one not too long ago. There was a lady who was standing always in her kitchen when I was talking to this client, and that was her relative, and that was her favorite spot. She wanted to stay in that kitchen.
Yeah.
And it looked like the happiest times of her life. So why wouldn't that be your heaven?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me.
You know? So, you know, whether it be in a comfortable chair or on a bar stool or in a baseball field.
So then, can I ask, when my cousin Danielle came through, where was she?
I'd have to try and connect with her again.
Yeah.
'Cause see, that's the thing I don't remember, like,
Yeah.
the vivid, mainly.
She smelled snow.
I did smell snow with her,
Oh my gosh.
okay? But I kept feeling snow, mountain. And when you said that, I felt her again, so she
Yeah.
was here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I hate to tell you this, but I keep feeling snow, mountain tops, and there's this old saying, "Go west, young man, go west." All right. So it's so hilarious because I keep hearing, "Go west, go west." So to me, that would mean she was towards the west of here.
Yeah.
Okay. But I feel like she had a purpose to go there.
Yeah.
Okay. And that purpose was not exactly what she found it to be.
Yeah.
But I am kind of like, I keep looking at, don't laugh, but just remember they give me weird things. I keep seeing like Swiss Miss Cocoa, and I don't know why, but I'm connected to like the mountainous range.
Yeah.
Okay. I smell snow again, and I keep hearing John Denver. Okay. So,
Yeah. So, yeah,
to
that's
deduce
kind of,
that,
yeah.
I would have to say Colorado, Montana. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You were right on the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colorado.
So she was in
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was. She
That's what-
smelled
when
snow
you-
with me, and that's why I was like, as soon as you said that, I was like, she smelled snow. I know exactly. You know
That's-
exactly where she's
That's
at.
exactly. So I forgot to ask that during the reading, just because there's so much.
But that's where she
but
is.
I
but
kind of figured.
at the same time, she wants to come home.
Yeah.
So she stays in this Colorado state that she turns. But see, it's a different time period for her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not that exact age. She went from not wanting to grow up to wanting to even grow up. I don't know how else to put that there. But
Yeah.
she wanted to skip past like a certain age
Yeah.
to where everything's kind of, balanced out. And I said, honey, there is no balanced age of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because I think it was in yours where she kept hollering at me, telling me, call me Danny.
Yeah. Yep. It was
Yes.
with me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, who's Danny? Thinking, maybe it was
Yeah.
a male trying to come through or something, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I said, no, she went by Danny. That was, yeah.
Yeah. She immediately called her Nanny too.
Yeah.
It's just neat. Like I just couldn't picture, smelling fresh snow and smelling these scents maybe you have or haven't smelled before, but those kind of things that you pick up on are just astounding.
Yeah.
It's definitely emotional, but it's so neat that these things can come through and you can experience them and are able to give those to other people.
Yeah, that was very healing for me, because I talk to her all the time, and I even send her Facebook messages still. I'll send her a song on YouTube that reminds me of her, or I'll just send her a life update, and obviously nobody's talking back, but that I can
you,
hear.
That's right.
Yeah. And so this was very healing for me, and it gave me, I could say closure. I don't know if we'll ever fully feel closure because she had so much more life left to live. But honestly, just with anybody, I don't know if you can ever feel full closure, but it was healing. It was something that I needed.
Yeah. I think, so emotionally, we haven't, as a family, we hadn't lost anyone really until the past few years ago. That's it.
It was kind of.
Yeah. Yep. It was,
they're what I call a bundle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bundle.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just one or two.
No. And that's the thing. We were, I think we're not used to this spiritually, mentally, emotionally dealing with something like this because we had some loss when we were younger. I don't even know if you were born yet with some of the great grandparents that weren't even, we didn't even see maybe but once or twice as I have a memory of. And now we're just like losing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's just gratifying to like hear some of the things.
And it doesn't make you feel better because to me that's like a validation
Yeah.
Yes.
for people who question.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that breaks my heart more than anything is if I talk to someone and they don't believe that there's anything other than here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, bless your heart, that's so sad.
And
Yeah.
and see,
See, I
and
think-
we talk to so many people,
Yeah.
and you hear so many thoughts and opinions on these things, and it just kind of gets to you, and you're just like, I don't know what I want anymore, or
Like
what I
you
want to
said,
think.
being overloaded.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can fog, what your true views are
That's
on
right,
things.
yeah.
And I know, like, obviously we're spiritual, and like we know that Danny's with us in spirit. We've known that before coming here, but I think having you as a messenger, to kind of correlate that, together and to like validate, like you said, those feelings. Because I mean, I know that with everybody, that I've lost, like their spirit, I can feel it. Sometimes I can smell it, sometimes I can see it, sometimes I can hear it. But just having somebody who's done this for so long kind of help iterate that and validate that was extremely healing.
Yeah.
I hear Danny a lot. When I'm trying to fall asleep, she will kind of come up and whisper in my ear, and I know it's her. There was one time I was trying to fall asleep, and somebody was holding my hand, and I just knew it was her. I mean, I can't explain it, but I don't know, just having that validation means a lot.
And do you think, like, I feel also at our age right now, I think we're definitely going through a spiritual journey in general, just because of our ages. And I think, I feel like a lot of people experience these, like, spiritual awakenings and or experiences that they're going through. And do you think that happens quite a bit?
I do. But some people decide to turn away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, just like, if I don't want to watch that type of movie, I ain't going to watch it. So if they don't
Yeah.
want to, and that is up to them. I think it's available. But it's up to them if they watch it or,
Yeah.
And I think it does happen sort of at a certain age, all right? Mainly because it's what I call playtime, all right? And like when our kids are really young and because mine sort of took a back seat when I had my kid. Like I said, it was still there, but it's like they knew I couldn't be able to raise my child and still do this. It's the same. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
The way I would want to raise my child, because I was like a bear mama, constantly there. So, and then doing what I wanted to do with the section of my life is what I call playtime. And now it's time to go to work. So I knew I had to acknowledge it and help people through messages.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like now that I'm around this age, I could feel people going through it a lot more.
yeah, you see it in them.
And
too.
you're seeing it. You can see that they're on a journey of some sort, or they're going through something that is going to change their life. And,
And a lot of them, they're going on this journey. They ain't got a map. They ain't got a GPS.
and some of
You know
them,
what
I
I'm
don't think,
saying?
know they're going
No
on
And
a
they're
instruction
journey.
like, they're
manual.
almost like hitchhiking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they don't
And-
know where their destination,
No.
like they don't know that they're on a journey,
No,
and
they're
you're
just
just looking
like,
at them.
yeah.
You're like,
I'll catch a ride with you. See where I go.
yeah,
Yeah, and then that's not the way to do it. It's
Yeah.
just, but people don't ask and observe. So,
The cat.
Yeah.
I was like, am I the only one hearing this?
I'm like, hearing what? No. That's what I was going to do, but yeah.
yeah. I know it makes sense. Do you think all kids have some kind of connection, or do you think?
Because of their,
Innocence.
yes.
Yes. They don't have all of the crap that an adult has, or they shouldn't.
Burdens.
Children should never have a sense of worry,
Yeah.
other than picking up the toys for daddy gets home or whatever. You see
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
they don't have the worries of the adult world. To me, that is, we call it to the age of accountability, meaning where you're accountable for your actions when you truly know. So that's that time of innocence, all right? And it's so much easier, and I guess that really kind of gives it away. I guess I never grew up. You know what I mean? If you look at it that way, it's like, damn, I never grew up. But same time, I don't want to grow up.
No.
You know? And they don't have the bills that have to be paid or worrying about this or that. They can just enjoy playing with the mud pies, you know, and talking
Being
to
cute
their
little freeloaders.
friends. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Saying, "Hey, Mama, where's this?
Yeah.
Where's that? I got $5."
Yeah.
But yeah.
The snack machines.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you said you were about 7 or 8, right? What kind of made you come to that realization, like where you knew? Was it something you saw, or like?
Well,
And if you can't share, we understand.
no,
too,
you're
but-
fine. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, because I mean, back when I was little, you know, Mom would say, "Who are you talking to?" And Mom's big joke was, "That better not be no demon in there," you know.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Oh, I don't think so." And then she'd always throw back, "You better find out, young lady." But I think it was the strong validation, you know, that I had received. You know, what I did was I actually, and I was like in grade school, I communicated a message for a friend of mine who had lost someone in their life, you know. And I just didn't understand why they couldn't see him too. You know, I could not understand that. So then I had to go back and ask my mom, you know, and she was like, "Well, not everybody can." And then that's when we got into, you know, when she actually explained it to me. You see, my mama was one of these, she ain't gonna tell you the whole story. Because she'd say, "Nope, that's all you need to know."
Yeah.
You know, so then she'd tell me in segments. So,
When she felt you were ready.
yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like, you know, when you think you're ready for your, take the training wheels off your kid's bicycle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
That makes sense. I
I mean, some may need them training wheels the whole time. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could have kept them
yeah.
to a degree, but yeah. And then I got interested in it, and you know, she'd tell me stories about my grandfather and stuff like that, and different sides of the family. So
And do you think, like, having, how do I put this? Do you think, like, did she help you, or was it more of, like, I need to get with my own set of, my own, I guess, what guardians, angels, as you would call it, and
she
set
would
yourself up
give
first?
you the guidelines or the
Okay.
rules. My mother was one of those that say you can do this, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay, you know. And then she'd say you have to feel it out the rest of the way. Kind of like expected you to trust your own, just your own gut
Yeah.
feelings. But she always made sure too, you know, make sure it's coming from the right place. You know, watch what and don't. And my mother's famous words was always, "Do not be conjuring something up in this house. Don't be inviting anybody." You know what I mean?
Amen.
And that was always a running joke. And her comeback was always, "If you do, I'm gonna put a whammy on you." Not like she could, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And she would just say always to remain in the presence. Okay, meaning of the Spirit. So that would be the Holy Spirit.
That's good.
You know, and that's why I always prayed. You know, if it's not from there, I don't want it. Take it away.
That's a solid foundation, I feel like, to work on. And
Yeah, because I think I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
But you got to believe in something.
yeah.
Because it's so lonely and lost if you don't believe in something.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a football team or something. Believe in something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
like
can
it.
be.
I like that.
Has there ever been any point in time where something, I don't know, dark or negative has tried to intervene in your life?
Oh, yeah.
Does it happen still to this day, or is it mostly it comes and goes kind of thing.
Well, it's definitely not one of those calculated occurrences you can put down on the calendar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But on occasion, yeah. Yeah, I felt one, saw one. Beam and I did, actually, not too many weeks ago. And I was like, this ain't right. You know, you just had that different feeling because you get almost like a sick feeling in your stomach.
Yeah.
And you'll have like a certain smell. And I don't know what they are. I call them creepers or skinwalker. Again, making up my own stuff. But I think sometimes they come from negative people. Okay, or negative spaces. And I think, now that I think back on it, I think that was actually connected, believe it or not, to the old house next door, because that's the same thing I used to see over there. And occasionally still do. If I'm out, who'll go out 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, take the dog out and just walk around like nothing, you know. And I'll look over, and sometimes I can look into those windows, other times I can't, because I don't want to see what I see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, they just kind of pop up.
Yeah.
Do you think people are able... I feel like a lot of people don't understand that they're able to project themselves as much as they do. Does that make sense? Like, they can project their energies out and are so unaware of it. And,
yes.
And
you don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is so true, you know. Because energy moves stuff, you know. A lot of things that we don't realize we're moving. And I think there's actually like a term for that. But if you build up energies, whether they be negative or positive, you store them up. It's kind of like a champagne bottle, you know. That cork's got it's got to spew.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but that's a real way. I think sometimes that we don't have necessarily a ghost. Sometimes, like if something falls off the wall or this, that, and that, it could be that person in the house that's like projecting that energy. Because that girl right there, I can see it in her aura, or whatever you call it. She's a big projector. She's like a walking poltergeist factory. You know?
She is. She is. Literally.
Seriously.
I changed all the light bulbs in my house before she moved in, and they're all bad now.
And see, like...
Thanks for the light bulb
now
bill.
that you say that, so, like, the light thing is, like, you know, obviously a running joke with everyone around me. But there's things, you know, like, when I go to the store, you know, I've always labeled it, and people have always labeled it social anxiety, but by the time I leave, like, the grocery store and I get in my car, I have a pounding headache, and I'm dizzy, and I'm, like, physically ill from it, and it's, like, almost like I'm drained, and I don't know if it's just, like, from everyone's energy, if I'm in any kind of public space.
And it could be, you know, or just even the people that's already walked that space, you know, and you're walking right through that energy.
Yeah.
You know, think of it as like a lint roller. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you eventually got to take off that one layer of paper and throw that away.
Yeah.
You know, and start new. So I would just put up your own type of barrier.
Yeah.
Or it sounds so silly, but what I do is, I wouldn't advise this in the store, like in town, but, you know, I'll talk to myself like all day long, you know.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then other things get in.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how I kind of stop them sometimes. But if like I'm in the store or something, it's hard to do, but I can multitask very well in the mind. I know it sounds crazy, but not like with my hands. Okay? I can't stir chicken soup and make a pizza and put it in there at the same time. But I can have two thoughts going at once. All right. So, I know it's crazy, but I can sing a song in my head over and over again. But I can also look down at my grocery list.
Yeah.
Right. And text somebody back or what have you.
Yep.
But that's how I kind of block it.
Yeah. Because, like, I like being social occasionally, you know, like, the thought of it, I'm like, you know, I want to go out, want to do this, just, like, experience, you know, different stuff in life. But it's like, once I get there, it's like my social battery runs out pretty quickly, and I start to get dizzy and lightheaded, and, like, I just feel so drained without even anything crazy going on.
Yeah, it doesn't
like,
have
physically.
to be crazy. It can just be the people and the energies
Yeah,
and stuff. But that's an intuitive.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think it's just social anxiety. It's people could just be chill, you know?
Yeah.
And
Social
still,
anxiety
I
is
feel-
more like going up and having to, this is my take on it. introduce yourself
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be the life of the party, and interact. That's social
Like you're the
anxiety.
host of the event and
Right,
you
Yeah.
are responsible
right.
for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, that's not what we experience. Is not social anxiety. Maybe spiritually social anxiety. I don't know.
Me.
We'll just come up
Yeah.
with our new little words.
Yes.
But that's what I think. I mean,
Yeah.
because I've dealt with that like my whole flipping life.
Yeah.
And because Mom would always tell me, you're not afraid to go to this and that and the other. You just need to go out there and do that. That's just them spirits and haints, as she would call them, kind of back and forth. And I'm like, all right, fine. So, she'd push me into these things.
Yeah.
And, I hated it.
So is that you say Haines. So is she from the Appalachia area?
Nope. Kentucky, actually. But back in that part of Kentucky, my grandmother and my other grandmother, they all called them haints. This was all haints.
I've heard that
A
term.
haunting
Yeah.
Yeah.
was a haint.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just curious. Yeah. I've heard different families have different
and
names.
They'll paint the porch roofs different color.
Yeah.
If you ever go down further south, if you ever notice, you'll look up and there'll be different colors of paint on those
Ceiling
are
on
to
that side.
keep the haints away.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All different types of superstitions, and from all different kind of parts, and it's just really cool.
Wow.
Sorry. It's
No,
the best
you're
little
fine.
grumble in my life.
Yeah. He's a dandy.
Definitely for sure.
So, you had mentioned a possible Bigfoot experience. I didn't know if you wanted.
I swear to goodness, I seen one. Everybody thinks I'm
Yeah,
crazy, but
no.
I swear I've seen one.
I get it. Yeah.
I saw, I can't say the tail end of it, but the shoulder.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything that tall and hairy in my life.
How much would you estimate the size to be, and what tell us what was happening and
Well, I was going down the road. I was going up to run my dogs, and I just stopped like an idiot because that's what I do. When I see this thing. I mean, most people have that run instinct. No, I'm sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, is that what I just saw?" So what am I doing? I'm getting out of the car like an idiot,
Yeah. Investigating.
thinking, "You fool!" Because I had 2 dogs at the time. They was both with me, and they was both freeze, oh. I can help you, but not with this shit, Mom.
Yeah.
So they basically went back in the car.
They're like, I will do my best.
And I was
but-
sitting there going, idiot kid in the car. So that's what I did. I got back in the car and I drove off. But I was driving down the road and I saw it. I can't say run, but big, strides, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Go across it was a gravel road. And it just sort of went into the woods. And it was like a tannish,
coyote color?
no, like a dirty deer
Okay.
is what I would call it. A dirty deer. But the shoulder, but see, the weird thing is, I know it had to have a head, but I just didn't see it. It's hunkered down. I would say maybe 7, 8 foot tall.
Wow.
But it was wide.
See, that's what I'm saying. People cannot believe in this stuff, and that's fine. But how can you explain that?
Other than the
That's-
fact that well, she's nuts. I mean, look at her.
Well, yeah, that's
What was you smoking?
that's an easy excuse for most people.
It is,
Yeah, it
and
is.
I'm one of these. A lot of people do I don't believe it unless I see it. And I'm kind of borderline opposite. I'll believe anything, but at the same time I want to see it because
Yes.
to me,
Yeah.
anything is possible.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I am.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, goodness, who knows what all's in this world?
Yeah.
Seriously.
My boyfriend asked me the other day, he was like, do you actually believe in Bigfoot? And I'm like, it's not that I believe in it, it's just I believe that it could be.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's I believe in it, but don't believe it until I say it, but now I believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in one of our previous episodes, I kind of touched base on this, but I had something happen when I was younger, and to the point where I don't know if I made myself think that it was a dream or if it actually was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of those things. We'll never know.
There we go. All right. It's going back. So,
Yes.
all right. You start at the Bigfoot part. That.
Yes. So when I was younger, I think I had a Bigfoot experience, but I was so young that I don't know if I just made myself believe that it was a dream or if it was actually real. But it was, imagine a Bigfoot, about 6 to 8 feet, whatever. And, but it was more scaly in certain parts.
Mhm.
And, it was walking across our pond. Yeah. And out in Leopold. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if I actually saw it or not. But that's something that has always been in the back of my mind.
Or, you could have just told yourself it was a dream. That way it's not so scary.
That could be it. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I had to have been, I would say 7. 6, 7, somewhere around there. So it could have been. But that's just something that, like, I constantly think about. It'll drive me crazy. Probably till the day I die.
Or you can ask to see something similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I can be a chicken on some things,
Yeah.
If I'm by myself, I can only tolerate so much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get that. Everyone has boundaries.
Yeah.
But, if scary stuff is happening, I know some people, like you said, will run.
Mhm.
And then some people, don't.
Idiots like me that go look and then get
That's
scared.
me. I have to investigate because I want to validate in the moment what I saw, what I heard, and I want to know what it is.
Right.
Like, I have to know.
Well, that, and then also, like, if my dog's scared of something, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is going on? I gotta see, because then we gotta make sure we're all good
Yeah.
in the hood when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I could see that too.
Yeah.
And I mean, curiosity always
You know,
gets
if
the
it
best of
has
you.
a dog's attention, something's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they can see stuff.
Yeah.
They really can. I mean, cats, everything can see something
No,
sometimes.
it's because they have that innocent soul.
Yeah.
They don't think evil thoughts like we do, like humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
He's dreaming. Sorry, it's so cute. She's just such a big baby. The only other question I was gonna ask you is, so do you think there's portals, or do you think it's more like dimension-y?
Both.
Both? All of that kind of?
I go with answer D, all the above.
All the above.
Because I think there's a lot of stuff. I think there's different dimensions to a degree. I think there's portholes where it's easier accessible for them to come through.
And
Now-
do you think those portals could be good and bad, or
Yeah.
just okay,
Yeah.
or is just open
Because
to
again,
anyone?
you have to have the yin and the yang. You have to have the good and the bad to balance. Because I think everything's, but again, that's just me, that should have a balance. It's kind of like that circle of life. You know what I mean? I mean, nobody wants to see,
That's the
Pick up my
that's
kid
the
alarm.
to pick up my kid.
I mean, nobody wants to see something bad, like, a tiger ripping apart a zebra or something, but it's life.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So you have the good and the bad.
Yeah.
It creates that balance.
Yeah. You gotta
know?
have harmonious,
You do.
and everything's gotta
But that's just,
Live
that's just
in-
my take on it.
yeah.
And I'm always open to other suggestions, and I always tell people the same way. I'll take new things in, or I won't. And that's what I tell people too. Take what resonates, just leave the rest. Don't just send your mind into a frizzy. Thinking, should I believe this or should no? Just let it be. Just kind of let things settle.
Yeah. I mean that's perfect, honestly. Way to put it.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
Nope, I think that just about covers it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you can find Allie Divine on Facebook, on her
Allie
Facebook
Divine,
page.
Mystic Messenger.
Yes, and then she has a website.
Yeah.
AllieDivine.com.
Yes, and we're gonna put that in the bio, the link, everything like that. Please check her out. We both got personal readings, and
Yeah, how'd you guys like that?
it was amazing.
It was so amazing. It was what I needed. The closure. I know we don't
Yeah.
like that word, but
and because a lot of times, I'm not here to give people closure, even though that's what they want.
Mhm.
I prefer like peace and knowing.
yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's my purpose. I want to help people with this, to know
Yeah.
this is not it. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
it's
saying?
almost like, when you want a certain painting done and you go and you
Yeah.
talk to an artist and they bring that to life,
Mhm.
that's almost what it felt like.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
I
That's
do.
the best way
Because
I can
they have
put
to
it.
put
Yeah.
their own zing on it.
Yeah.
And even though you wanted the barn and the field, well, they may add a couple ducks or to balance it. You notice I stuck that word in there again?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
To balance the picture.
Yeah, and I think everyone, I mean, some people may not like this, but I think everyone should go and just take a second to maybe hear some of the message that maybe they need to hear. Maybe they don't like it, maybe they don't like it, don't like it, whatever. But just to hear someone out, because I wasn't for sure if I was ready today, and I feel a lot better about it now. Because I was like, this was thrown into my life for a reason.
Yeah.
And now hearing it, I'm like, it makes sense. Everything's balanced again, like she said, balanced, clarified, validated.
Yes.
Validated.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense now.
You know, I know, like, obviously you can't push this onto somebody, but it is good to note that even if you don't feel ready, you know, sometimes, even if you're not mentally prepared for it, sometimes that could be what kind of helps heal that.
Yes, yeah.
You know?
Because sometimes we really don't know if we're ready or not.
Yeah, I was, you know, not gonna lie, I was a little, like, nervous and sick to my stomach because I didn't know if I was ready to hear about Danielle. But then, once I did, it was like a weight just lifted off my shoulders. And, so sometimes the Spirit knows what you need when you need it. Yeah. And even if you don't feel it in the moment, doesn't mean that it's not meant to be. So
that's why I always tell everybody, you get what you need to know, not what you want to know.
Yep.
Yeah, and please visit her website, as she does online phone messages.
Yeah.
And you maybe have the pleasure of seeing her at some point. But
Yep.
She was awesome, great, fantastic. I had a wonderful time. It was nice.
Yes.
It's just a nice way to kick off February 1st.
Yes.
You know?
Thank you for
That's
letting
right.
us.
It is February the 1st.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what is today, the 1st? It feels,
All I know is it's Thursday. So.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
Thank you so much for letting us pick your brain.
I appreciate it.
Because,
it was awesome, and maybe we'll get to do it again sometime.
Yes, please.
Like I said, I do want you guys to come back and do like the energy movement one of these days.
Yes, I'm very interested in that.
It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Reiki, but it's better than Reiki.
Yeah.
Because you'll feel the after effects after.
Yeah, I definitely. I think maybe next time we can do something more about protecting and white light, because I've heard things and I know a little bit about it, but at the same time, what's right and what's not right? How are you? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I heard this, but do you know how to do it? That kind of thing.
And again, you got to have that belief.
Yeah.
You know, if you believe you can get on that bicycle and ride it with two wheels, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
But if you get ready to get on that bicycle and you think, I'm going to wreck and break my neck, more than likely you're going to start shimmying and shaking and you're going to wreck that son of a bitch. You know, you're done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Allie. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
We've had
Nice
such a
to
good
meet
time.
you guys.
Yes,
We
check
appreciate it.
Yes,
Check
please.
out her Facebook page and her website, Allie Divine Mystic Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's AllieDivineMysticMessenger.com.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah, and
So,
AllieDivine.com.
AllieDivine.com.
Yes.
Yes, we will find those and put those in the link in bio.
Yes.
But it's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Feel better. It's been a great day. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
guys for
appreciate
listening.
You guys.